The last couple episodes of Ushio to Tora, dude, it's been going in, man. It's been going in, like, straight up. Last week with Exorcist, yo, that hype sauce. I'm so salty I didn't get to talk about it, right? And my only qualm with that episode is that we didn't get to see more of the skirmish between Tora and HYOU, because they both apparently got pushed to their limits in that. But aside from that, the character development for Tora, for Ushio, you know, a sort of deepening of their bond, you know, below the surface. This episode, on top of that, with Ushio character development, like, my boy Ushio, man, he's growing on me. He really, like, Tora's still best boy, let's not get it twisted. But Ushio, man, the last couple episodes, his development, he's finally starting to come into his own for me. And I'm loving it. So, this episode, I feel it. We're going into an arc soon. We're definitely going into arc. Whether it's next episode, or we have one more episodic episode left, soon enough, everything's been set up. And with the foreshadowing and the hinting at, you know, some mystery concerning Ushio's mother. And straight up, when Umizato was like, you know, AOZAKI, did he say AOZAKI? I thought he was just straight up thinking of Ushio's father. Like, I was like, okay, this is how we find out that Ushio's father is Beast. And he's some big motherfucker, some sort of exorcist or something in the yokai world. And no, it has to do with his mother and her being an accursed woman or something, whatever he says, and how she's still alive. So, I'm guessing, did Ushio's mother become a yokai? Like, is that what happened? And is that why, you know, his father is always absent? Like, that he's made that his main quest? Because based on the OP, I've never read Ushio to Tora, based on the OP alone, and genuine, you know, old school throwback shonen tropes and vibes, I would venture to guess that the man is OP, just based on those two things. You see him there. So, I'm wondering what the deal is with this, and if Ushio's mother at that stage, then, it's going to be one of the main antagonists of the series. But who knows? It could have been, you know, some warped, you know, kind of logic, something down the line, the information that Umizato has been twisted or something like that. But either way, it's piqued my interest, dude. And now that we have this kind of mystery hanging over the series, things that, you know, we have characters set up. We got HYOU, we got, you know, ASAKO, which I was hoping that it would be kind of on the same, or along the same lines of INOUE, because we haven't really gotten confirmation of it yet, but I believe INOUE, you know, knows about Tora. So she's basically keeping her mouth shut as far as Asako is concerned. You know, she's like, yo, I was saved by this tiger monster. I thought you were there too, but I blacked out and went out when I was inside the Ayakashi, which the Ayakashi, dude, that shit was amazing. I'll talk about that in a second. But she doesn't really know Tora like INOUE knows Tora, or know that, you know, Ushio is involved in this. So I was expecting her to get on that INOUE level. The fact that she's not and INOUE is furthers both of my theories that Asako is waifu, which it's already been played up like that. The whole childhood friend demeanor, you know, Asako caring for Tatsuya in this episode, you know, seeing signs of Ushio in him in his past and finding out about Ushio's backstory and how he grew up without his mother and everything like that. I was like, it's deep, but confirms Asako for waifu. And also confirms that INOUE, at some point, is going to aid in the yokai game. In some way, shape, or form, she's going to be involved. She, you know, her ancestor with the fucking crazy priestess powers. I want to see that, you know, transfer to this generation. So, lots of setup as far as that's concerned, dude. Seeing fucking Asako and INOUE in the swimsuit stuff. Like, even that one piece just looks so, there's something so right about him. Like, Asako is sexy as fuck. No lie. I haven't really thought about it until this episode, but I digress, dude. Let's get into some of the information we get. We get this yokai Umizato, who's basically the guardian of the sea, and he recognizes Tora, and he calls him, I believe it was like Naga Tobimaru or something like that, which is the name that humans dubbed him as, you know, 500 years ago. And we also find out by the end of this episode he was also known as the Lightning Beast and various other epithets and whatnot. So I like that context, and once again, seeing, you know, Tora recognize when this world means that as a yokai, he's a huge threat and was a huge threat back in the day. And of course, that's why Ushio's father was so shocked by the fact that he released the Beast Spirit. Maybe whatever order Ushio's father is a part of, he had to go answer to them for the very fact that his son released Tora and you know, unsealed the Beast Spirit and is now wielding it. So that's why he just took off like that. Either way, the man was shocked as fuck, if you guys recall that like 2 episodes ago when he found out that Tora had been released. But I digress, right? So we get that context, and we get the setup with Ushio's mother. In terms of the animation, the art this episode, like, I'm just loving what MAPPA is doing with the series. The style, just maintaining that old school 90s art style. The music is tight. Everything about it, like, just the vibes of the pacing and progression. Like, this episode, at first I was like, okay, we got that episodic nature. It's a beach episode. You know, Tora's flying off, and we saw Tora confronting the Ayakashi. And to see him utterly powerless at that stage until he went inside, and the very fact is that we get more insight into the Beast Spear and how it operates as well once Ushio gets in there. But I like the split progression because on the other hand, the feels with Tatsuya and his character and everything like that, especially like by the ending, it was just something so endearing about it for me because he manned up, you know, the words that Ushio told him where he's like, your mother's always watching over you, and, you know, that also helped him in his youth to grow up from what, you know, Asako's father told him and everything like that, and he was able to build the courage to save Asako and whatnot, and, you know, just Ushio being like, yo, Tatsuya, you were mad cool, bro, after he gives him, you know, the memento from his mother. I was just like, dude, like, just these little, like, you took this little story, and, like, it wasn't even as fucking heart-wrenching as the Kyo backstory, where his whole family was murked by this beast that looked like Tora. It wasn't as bad, but I still caught, like, even greater feels with this episode than even that for Tatsuya. I'm just like, that was something so endearing and so, like, nice and clear about that shit, where it's just like, yo, this kid lost his mother. It's just like Ushio. He came through. He was able to, you know, those words. He took those words to heart, and he was able to come through and save the day and face his fears. Dude, I was like, there was something so subtly cool about that I really enjoyed the episode on that alone. But the stuff with Ayakashi, seeing like how fiendish of a yokai that was, and how it was basically formed out of the souls of people lost at sea, and, you know, by consuming various yokai and human beings, I was like, this shit is crazy, dude. And inadvertently, Ushio, unless they have, like I'm saying, you got exorcists, too, unless they have, like, orders of exorcists like you would tend to have in a world like this, you know, Omonyoji or whatever you need to have them break down as, you know, which I'm guessing, like I've been saying this whole review, Ushio's father is a part of, you know, this may have very well been a huge ordeal, because by them defeating this monster, they freed, like, countless souls that were trapped inside of it. So I think it could be considered a big thing within that spectrum and that perspective of this world, but other than that, the progression, we also find out, like I said, that when Ushio tore off a piece of the cloth from the Beast Spear, that it acted on its own, you know, accord. I don't know if it was because he tore off the cloth or because he was in mortal danger, because we've seen the spear act by itself, but he says it himself when we see it. It got some sort of power surge, and he wasn't able to reattach the cloth after the fact. So I wonder if the cloth was much longer at first, and if you, as you know, peel pieces off of it, it gives the spear some sort of extra boost or whatnot. But that's just random speculation based off of little hints that we have there. But aside from that, really enjoyed the episode. Asako is my best girl. I'm sorry. Like, Inoue is amazing, and I like the Tora X Inoue, but Asako is just too sexy for me. There's something about her courage this episode, how she dealt with Tatsuya. I just fucking love her, and of course she's gonna be a waifu, dude. But Inoue needs to go in the future. I still love her, and the INOUE X TORA stuff. Like, I just want to see them, you know, kind of hang out, her kind of appease him with hamburgers and whatnot. It's gonna be fun shit if it goes down that route. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts on this episode, and I'm out. Peace.